Well, that's the well, I do. Jesus, I've been chatting throughout. Go on.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Marketing. I am here with my amazing guest, Tara Prendergast, Tara Boo, Bite the Biscuit, lots of different names for this phenomenal lady. And we're going to discuss today building a tribe, because Tara has nearly 10,000 members now, I believe, in her tribe. Her tribe is called Bite the Biscuit, and you can find them there on Facebook. Tara,
hi,
tell us a little bit about yourself, honey.
Well, thanks for having me. I was so excited to jump on. I think the last time we talked to each other was face to face at a party, a biscuit party, actually. I think that was the last time we were chatting. So it's great to talk to you again, and to everyone listening. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to talk to you guys about tribes, and specifically Facebook groups. That's where I've built my tribe around my business. So yeah, we're going to dive into that today, I think, Amanda, aren't we?
We definitely are. We were having a quick chat before we came on live, and we were just saying, the benefits, the highs and the lows. Basically, let's bring it all back. How did you start to build your Facebook group? Because it doesn't get to 10,000 members by accident. It started somewhere. I'm always saying to people, start small, but start. So yeah. Where did the idea come from, and how did you get it going, Tara?
So just for anyone that doesn't know me, I forgot to say this, but for anyone that doesn't know me, I help small businesses, predominantly in the creative sector, how to build businesses around their products or services. And for a lot of people, both. They do products and services. So that's what the core of what I do. And when I started Biscuit, I had moved from Cork. I sold my last business, and I was kidnapped to, from Cork to Dublin, as you do, with my husband. But he kidnapped me and brought me up kicking and screaming. And I'm only messing. I was delighted and excited to move to Dublin and the big smoke. And I came to Dublin, with a small child and husband, starting a new job, a new city. I knew two people, and I was craving a community. I was craving like-minded people, and I'm from an artistic background originally, and I couldn't find creative people. Like I couldn't, like you go to art galleries and you hang out in places, but it was really hard to connect with like-minded people. And so when I started my business, helping small business owners, I wanted to really help creative people, because I'm from that background, and I see the struggle that creative people have with putting themselves out there. And so I decided, well, from a selfish perspective, I just want to connect to creative people as well. What's the best way of doing that? And setting up a Facebook group is one of those ways that you can really connect to a particular type of person. And so Bite the Biscuit was born for me to connect to that, cohort of people, and to find out what's going on in Dublin and what's happening in the art world. And it started like that. And at that time, that was 6 years ago now, I was I didn't have an online business like I have now. I was doing a lot of one-to-one work, which, would be meeting people and helping them on a one-to-one basis in real time. And so, so it just started like that, Amanda, just, to try and connect creative people with me and with each other. And it evolved really quickly. The appetite for it really blew up, with people recommending the group, and everyone kind of connecting to it because of the nature of it, which was, creativity. Let's build our confidence around being creative. Let's share our work. Stop hiding behind your easel and come out in front of what you do. And that was really important to me, to kind of set up a space where creatives felt, they can be weird and wonderful if they want, and if they could, and a big thing. And I know, when I was starting the group, people said, you can't do that. You can't have no rules in your group, Tara. And just being a creative and going, well, if you tell me I can't, I'm definitely going to do it. Then, like, I don't want to have the rules like everybody else. I want to do it my way. And that really sat well with the creatives in the group, that there are no real rules, that the community really decides what happens in the group. And I think that was really important to me too, even though people told me not to do that. So it's interesting how, you know, you start things with a particular kind of idea, and then it evolves into something. It almost has its own heartbeat that really beats itself, and you kind of support its beat, you know. So yeah, that's how it started.
The passion is oozing from you, girl. And what's coming to my mind is it's a fucking movement. You created a movement for creatives to have that space to step into their light. And, you know, that mantra, that beating of the drum is your message. That's your message. The heart of the core message for the biscuits. We'll get onto the name in a few minutes because I just it's so cool. But what's at the heart? What's your mantra in there for your creatives?
Oh, so what's really important is, apart from the no rules thing, what's really important is, you know, done is better than perfect, which is, and I know you talk about that as well, Amanda, and it's really, that's from a business perspective though, that's very much at the heart of, you know, getting shit done, stop talking about it and just do it, like, you know. But what really envelopes that, which is important, is having the confidence to step into that done is better than perfect, because it takes confidence to do that. And building confidence with the gang in my group is really at the heart of what we do. It's nurture, it's, you know, building confidence. On a Friday, we do Show Off Friday, which enabling people to be okay with showing off, because I think in our culture, it's like, yeah, but you're one there showing off. Who does she think she is? And it's knocking that down and saying, well, if you're not going to stand and be proud of what you do, how can you expect other people to even look at you or appreciate what you do if it doesn't come from you, right? So that's really at the center of Bite the Biscuit, the Facebook group we're talking about. It's really at the center of it, because everything comes from your confidence to actually do it. Like, and sometimes we don't have confidence in things and we still do it, and then you have the confidence afterwards. Like, so it's having those, you know, those key days in the group that people feel okay when everyone else is kind of doing it. You gain that permission, I guess, to follow in and just take part in this showing off bit, like, you know. And it's empowering when your community are doing it around you. Like, there's, you know, people that make soap or people that make jewelry, they're showing off. Well, if they're showing off, why can't I do it then? And it's and that was set up, that day was set up at the very beginning, the Fridays, not to have this perfect product that you're going to put out there and that you're going to, you know, run ads to and do all this cool stuff to. This is a space that you practice seeing your stuff in a feed and looking at the reaction and seeing, are people liking this? Can I do better? And it's just getting comfortable with pressing that button. And that's what the space is used for. There's no judgment on your stuff. Like, it's just, you know, everyone supports you. There'll be people doing the same thing that will support you. And that's non-judgmental space. That's really key to a group like that. Like, you know, when confidence is always a thing. So
wow, look at this. You just light up. You literally just light up when you're talking about your group. And I'm not surprised, because I came across the group a number of years ago, and that's the warmth and that safe space, that non-judgmental. I'm not a creative, and I think it was Tara, one of them said, but you're creating other stuff. So come in. You know, you always felt, I felt welcome the minute I walked in the door. And I know Ian, my husband, is an artist, and I said to him, you got to get in there. And the group has been phenomenal, helping him grow as an artist, because he's been knocked a couple of times, and being in there with other artists, it has given him a huge amount of confidence. So Tara, thank you for that. But the community, and you've touched on it there, it's not about Tara, it's about the community, and it's about creating that space where other people interlink with each other and encourage and lift each other up. How at the beginning, because many people come to me, or I'm always saying to them, there's amazing benefits to building a Facebook group from a business perspective. And I know, like you and me both, we didn't have a business going in when we started our groups. That evolved from our skills and stuff that showed up as a result of bringing people together, which is amazing. But in the beginning, because we're all about being real and being honest, time is an issue for business owners because they need to be marketers, they need to do their account. There's so much that we need to do. Realistically, in the beginning, what does it take to start and grow a group? For somebody who's thinking about growing a group, marketing their business via a Facebook group, let's talk really honest here, because I've seen people start groups and they have the wrong agenda, the wrong purpose, they're on a mission for sales and it doesn't work. But what is at the heart of, do you believe, setting up that group and running a successful community right back at the start?
I think what's important is to ask yourself, why do I want to set up a Facebook group? Is it a vanity thing that I want this big community behind me so that I look good or I'll be the expert in my field, which is a strategy in itself and a smart one, but it has to come from a core question. Why am I going to set up this group first? And if it is because I want to build a space for people that I can serve, that I can get in front of, that I can connect, that I can, bring value to, not in a salesy way, because Facebook groups aren't really, some of them aren't really built just to come in and sell. People don't react very well to that in a Facebook group, unless it's specific to that. And that's the question that you have to ask yourself. Why am I doing it in the first place? And if it is just to sell my stuff, then it has to be designed in that way from the get-go, that you go, okay, this is the purpose of it. This is why I'm doing it. So that's the first question to ask yourself. Why do I want to do this? Does it make sense for my outcome of what I want to eventually create from it? And then the reality check of, I'm going to be working hours and hours for no money to build a space for people. And it takes hours and hours, and you will cry and you will want to be watching Netflix, but you'll be on your laptop running your group, policing your group, making sure there's no trolls in there, having it, a safe place that you're going to create. It takes hours and hours and hours, and you're going to probably hate it at some point, and you're going to be going, I want to go to the pub. And, you have to put the hours in at the start if you want to create a clean space that will be eventually, that you'll get to a point where you won't have to put in the hours. You build a really healthy community that get your core vision and purpose, and you repeat those messages into your group on a consistent basis. So it's almost the culture that you're creating. And what happens is, once you've put in the hours and repeated yourself over and over again and set up all these kind of cogs, the community will keep it going. And that's the magic. That's when yes, I've done it, because I don't have to be in there going, it's Show Off Friday. They all going, oh, it's Show Off Friday. We're all doing this. And it's a culture that you build. And it's really amazing to see that, and to be able to go, okay, cool, this is what I wanted to do. What is the next step now for this group? Because people don't pay into a free Facebook group, obviously. So you have to be smart as well on, well, if I'm going to spend all this time and tears and, not being able to do the things in the evening because I have to do this thing, it has to make sense to your business as well on the other side. So it's not to ignore that piece. It mightn't be what you initially kind of foresee for it, but it has to be in there because you run a business. It has to be in your strategy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So I wrote down the why, the purpose, and I always say, when you're looking at your why, I always say, what's in it for you and them.
That's right.
So when you think of the purpose, because we are passionate, we're creative, we're servers, we're givers. A lot of my audience are the same, and I'm sure yours are the same. We give everything away if we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, happily. But yeah, when you're looking at your why and your purpose, I always say to my clients, what's in it for you? What's in it for them? Get really clear on both sides of this. Because as human beings, we like to see a win-win. And if something becomes very one-sided, you can lose your way, you can lose your motivation, you can actually begrudge the time, the commitment. And I have that wrote down, it takes time, it takes huge amount of commitment. In the beginning, people are shy, they mightn't comment. You need to be commenting. You need to be commenting on everybody's in the beginning. So it does take time and a huge amount of commitment. I loved it. Another thing you said, be transparent. Be transparent in everything that you do. Have honesty and integrity. So not knowing your purpose can lead you into all sorts of knots and overwhelm. Know your purpose, be transparent with it. That's your core vision. And I love that you said it. Repeat it regularly, because to create a community, it's to create a vision for everyone. The vision might start with you, but other people can see themselves. They like that vision and they want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So that is just phenomenal. So nearly 10,000 members.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. They're global. They're from all over the world.
Yeah, which is great. And something that that is also really important in all the things that I do as well is the curation of the group. And I think, and this is, again, people are going, don't bother doing that, just let everybody in. And, it was a decision I made at the very beginning, just being in other groups where it wasn't curated. And so there was a real mix, too much of a mix for my group, as for specifically to cater for creatives, which is broad enough. It's not just painters. I mean, there's soap makers, jewelry makers, holistic space. I mean, there's across the board, but for me to get to almost 10,000 people and for it to be organically grown, so there's been no ads to it, it's all referral, which is really important to me. I spent so long, and still do, checking everyone that's asked permission to come in. Are they trying to come in and sell tractors in here? No. And, that number could be a lot higher if this wasn't done. But my objective at the very beginning was to create a safe space. And a safe space is a space that is policed, for want of a better word, by the admins, right? To make sure it's safe and to make sure there's not people trying to shove stuff down people's throat that's not relevant or not cool with the group, and I've spent a lot of time doing that, and sometimes why am I doing this curation, but it's taking too long. But it really impacts at the other end when you have that really beautiful space for people.
I totally agree. And I think when you set up the space, and this is, I'm in a similar position, you have a responsibility to the community that you've created to keep that mission and uphold the values and the honesty and the integrity in that group. And at times it does often mean, so if you are thinking about a group, there's often messages, that you have to send to people that are hard, you have to do the hard stuff as well and it doesn't happen that often when you create it from your purpose, from your why, with honesty, integrity. It doesn't happen that often, but it comes a time when you do need to make those decisions. Do I let people in that haven't put their email address in? Do I let people in because I'm too tired to look at their profile? It does take that level.
It does. And I think that's the reality of running a business too, as well, Amanda, and especially when you get to a point where there's, you've 150 people every week to go through, and you have to go through, and I think, I think that keeping it real and keeping it the way you initially wanted it has to always be there, even if you have a bigger number. And sometimes people get affected by, sure, there's 10,000 or whatever number, and I've my job done, and sure, aren't I great? And when you lose focus on the attention that you gave at the very start, just because you're growing, that's dangerous. That complacency is dangerous in business, in every part of your business. That's why I never focus on the number as such. I focus on what's happening in the group. is everyone feeling okay? Are the people that didn't get any likes or any comments, I'm in there making sure they feel that connection and that support. And it's challenging to keep on top of that, but it's really important. And just like you said, you know, having to do those hard things, like, and in all the years I've been running the group, there's only twice I've had really weird things happen in the group, and I just feel very proud of the members for that. And but still, just like in business, you have to have the hard conversations, whether it's, yeah, I'm putting up my prices actually, or is it, sorry, you can't stay in here because that's not cool, like, sorry, you can't talk to people like that, fuck off, you know, whatever it is. That's part of being a leader in a group though, right? And a leader in your business, like, you have to suck it up and have the, you know, butterflies in your tummy and just do it. Like, done is better than perfect in all elements of business, like, you know, you just have to kind of step into that, like, when you make a decision to run a business, I think.
I think we spoke about that as well. It's that regular reflecting back and touching in base. Am I still on purpose here? Am I still congruent with my why? Has that changed? You know, and things will change and they'll grow and evolve. So I know we're going on here, but it doesn't matter because this is a great conversation. So from your group, just having the group, where did your business evolve for? Let's talk a little bit about, okay, so this group started happening, this community was happening, and then where did, because I know you do similar with me, it's the marketing, it's helping people get themselves out there to the world. And tell, how did that all start for you? Where did that kick off from, Tara?
Well, I started a one-on-one business coaching and mentoring, and more mentoring actually, and so I was doing it one-on-one, and then from the escalation in numbers in the group and people saying, can you help me? Can you help me? I'm going, okay. Then I thought, hang on a second, I can't fit in everybody. And I want to help lots of people. Like, how do I do this? So then I looked at, okay, obviously online learning. Like, I mean, that's, and even all of us have experienced that over the last year with COVID, like how impactful it is and how accessible you can make things for people, right? So I really, developed my first online program and tested it in with my community, which was only probably at 500 people then, and had my beta testers, which is really important when you're starting an online business and putting products and workshops out there. And that's what I created around my brain and my experience of running businesses, which I've been doing since I was 19. So there's a lot of experience in there that I wanted to share. And so I brought over, or said bye-bye to the one-to-one, I'll meet you for coffee and do this consulting bit over here, and brought everything online. So it was developing that module and testing it, and then getting the results and analyzing that and moving forward. And now like I have the online programs, and I have a workshop and workshops that I do, and I have a membership community as well. That's ongoing support and you know, a lot of trainings that we do every month, and check-ins and accountability, and get up off your arse and do stuff. Come on, lads, that kind of thing. So in there, and then as the business kind of evolved in that way, the opportunity came to start a marketplace as well, which we're developing all the time, which enables creative people to sell their work on a marketplace. So that's there as well. And we were talking earlier, Amanda, about, before we came on live, I was saying to you, you know, I suffer really badly from shiny object syndrome. Like, so I'm a devil for opening and closing businesses and, you know, starting new projects. And one thing that I've definitely learned is the more you focus in on one particular thing, the better results you're going to get. And I struggle with that even now. Like, I have a million ideas, and it's really hard when you're a creative person that you want to do so many different things. Like, but it's really important, I think, to focus in on your key, like you say, the vision, the purpose, and what makes sense to that. Which, you know, you can go and spaghetti arm it, like, but at the end of the day, what is the thing that's converting well for you and making you money? based on those and lean into that in a deeper way. And so, yeah, so that's really how it kind of evolved. And, you know, and it is evolving as we speak, like there's loads of things happening, but it all comes back to the core, I guess, mission or vision I have for Biscuit is, you know, to empower creative people, to build their confidence, to give them the skills that they need to know, how do I sell my stuff? Like, basically, how do I sell it? And that's a huge, you know, pocket of information that is filled with so many different threads of information. Underlying it and lining the pocket, I guess, is that nurture and confidence that you need to access those threads and put them all together. And that's really important for me in what I do and all the thingies, and community learning, and going back to community where it all started in Bite the Biscuit. And any of the workshops I do, and I'm sure you're the same, Amanda, any of the workshops or programs, or, you know, obviously the membership community is built on community learning, which means, you know, we're learning together, we're, you know, the process is together. And when you see other people going through the same process and having the same problems, what happens? It bounces back onto your confidence level, going, I'm not the only one struggling with this, but brilliant. I won't feel like a twat head asking this question because everyone's struggling with it. Yay. And it enables that confidence growth in people when you do the community learning thing. So one-to-ones are brilliant, I think, as well. But when you're learning like a curriculum-based or even in a membership community, and there's a reason that it's a community, you're really almost not bouncing off, but almost piggybacking from other people's energy as they go through as well. And that's really helpful, like when you're trying to build a business on your own. And the majority of us are on our own in our studios, in our offices, and just having that network is really powerful, like for learning, you know, when you're doing a program. So
there's two things that spring into my mind. One is my motto is always, together everyone achieves more.
Yeah.
Time and time in the groups, people will go, they think they have something, they hear someone else say it, they're like, whoa, have to go back to the drawing board. And they can see themselves in others, and it's powerful. The other thing, and I spoke about this morning with my own clients, it's make the main thing your main thing. Keep your main thing as your main thing. There'll be byproducts, there'll be things that, you know, I do speaker school and other stuff, and I collaborate with other leaders for different things, but it's all leading back to my main thing, which is the Passion to Profit Academy. In that kind of way, but everything else leads into it. But don't lose focus of your main thing, because you'll confuse your audience.
That's right. Yeah.
You'll confuse your audience. So, you know, what is your main thing, as Tara rightly said, that turns you over your income, that, you know, helps you put the bread and butter and pay the bills and do all the stuff that we need to do. What is that main thing? When people buy into that and your other stuff complements that, they know, like, and trust you already. Chances are that your main thing will be the selling point, or the get to know me, where you can lead them to your other products. What I see time and time again is people putting out so many different mixed messages, because let's face it, we can solve a lot of problems, but a confused mind will do nothing. When you speak to one, you speak to many. And that's what I love about you. Yours is the creative, you have that mission, you have that vision, and it's very clear how you can help people, Tara.
And I think as well, on that note as well, you know, for a lot of you guys listening, you mightn't have a service business, you mightn't be in our space of teaching or workshop, and you're product based. And if you think about it, on the same, you can still apply the same practice of be known for your signature product, your bestseller, and have that focus on your website to bring people's attention to the thing that you've proven and validated to a market, and lean into that. And don't be afraid of, I can't keep saying the same thing. Yes, you can. Sorry, Blake. But have it at the forefront of the marketing that you're doing. And, you know, people, and you see bigger brands do this all the time. Bestsellers, people want to know what are the things other people are buying, like, and lean into that, and don't forget about that. And sometimes it's the low cost product, or You know, if you're a painter, for example, you know, it could be your prints that they're your best sellers, and you really drive traffic to that. And again, people will, you know, get to know you and like what your product or service, and you can develop the relationship either on social or preferably email, where the money really is. So yeah, so I think it's important to know that, you know, if you're tuning out going, oh sure, I'm not one of you, it's related to all businesses, isn't it, Amanda?
Of course it is, because, you know, Ian, as an artist at the beginning, he's like most people, he picked up the paintbrush, he has a talent for, but marketing, what? Where do I put it?
Yeah.
I said to him, you know, he was painting all sorts of stuff, and I said, hang on a minute. What do the audience, what do your people want? Now he's known as the artist that paints places. And that didn't happen by accident. That was through market research, looking at what people were buying, like what Tara said, and then, okay, let's focus on that. And now he's sold everything. Because that's what his audience wanted. That's where his gift was, and that's where he focuses. Can he paint other stuff? Absolutely. Does he? Not really. Because it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. And that's a big struggle as well for artists, because the big thing for artists is that they don't want the limitations of commercial. They don't want, like, it almost sometimes, not almost always, but it sometimes kills that creativity when you're told you have to make this particular type of work because it sells. And that's a real struggle. Like, but I don't want to do that type of, like, that's not what I want to do. And what I would say to any artist out there is, you know, don't change your style, don't change the love of what you want to create for just for selling, but you adapt the offering for a market. Like, you look at, well, if I do versions of this, it'll make sense. I'm still kind of doing the same kind of thing, but I'm going to do a version of to make sales, so I can really develop my personal work that I can, you know, do exhibitions and be more in the art world with, but I have a revenue stream that's a version of what I do, keeping on brand on your style and what you're passionate about. But it's a great point that that's the realization that you're running a business, not a hobby, or not, you know, depending on the state to give you funding for stuff. And that's another world. And I feel that there's an increasing number of people that are tired of that continual application, refusal, not good enough. I'm not one of those artists that get all the shit all the time. And so you think it's your work and it's you as an artist, when actually it's not. It's that's a different world. There's a huge other world out there for you that you can own, that you can drive, that you're more in charge of, and you keep all the money, and you don't have to give the money 40, 50, 60% to somebody else, like, you know. And that's the exciting bit of this for creatives that think that they should just do this bit. I never diss it. I think there's, you know, for a lot of work, it's necessary, but for the majority of artists, that middle ground, I think we need to really focus in on business strategy and skills you need to develop a business around what you do. It's really important.
Perfect. We'll just jump here. We have a couple of people. So Lottie is here to say, never focus on numbers as such. Number one tip, if you worry about everyone else, you have no room for self and supporting those who really matter. I love it. Yeah. Someone else here is, hello from betterplants.ie. I agree with the focus on bestseller, and definitely Amanda is right too. Many choices can be confusing. Yeah, so I really want to hammer that home today, even with your group. Thanks, Ollie, for that. With your group, with your offers, with your message, with your audience. And I know, you know, here's what I said this morning. To complicate things is easy. To simplify things is harder. And that's strategy, and that can be marketing for some of you guys. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, there is a couple of different things, and we've touched on them today. Things like your why and your purpose, your niche, what you're good at, and stuff like that. So just take notes. If you need to watch this back, watch it back and take notes. There's golden nuggets in here. Thank you, Tara, for joining me. Congratulations, and I wish you continued success in your phenomenal tribe. Bite the Biscuit. Guys, go and find Tara on Facebook if you're not in that group and you are in that creative space where you're warm, loving, and kind as a business owner. I know that when she checks through, you'll be welcomed with open arms, as we all have been inside the Biscuit place. So thank you, Tara. Thank you to listeners. Thanks for joining us live. But if you are watching it in the replay, do leave questions or anything like that in the comments. And we have Helena here from Busy Beaters. Loving the tips. You're welcome, Helena. Yeah, so leave stuff in the comments. We will get back to you. Tara's links are all above. You can watch her TEDx talk. Like, we could have been here for another 2 hours talking, to be honest. But thanks again, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.